Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. This is Captain Lemuel, and this is 15 minutes with the captain. So we're going over Leviticus chapter 12, birth for males and females. All right. So let's read this in Leviticus chapter 12 and verse 1. We're going to deal with the laws pertaining to birth of a male versus birth of a female. All right. Leviticus 12 and 1.
Leviticus chapter 12 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a woman have conceived seed and born a man-child.
So if a woman gets pregnant and she births a male child, come on.
Then she shall be unclean 7 days, according to the days of the separation for her infirmity.
So it says, according to the days of the separation for her infirmity, shall she be unclean. What does it mean, according to the days of her separation? Let's read that real quick.
Leviticus chapter 15 and verse 19.
Come on.
And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days. And whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean unto the even.
So when it says according to the days of the separation for her infirmity, meaning according to the same days as if she had her menstrual cycle, as if she had her period. So that first 7 days, all right? Let's go back to Leviticus 12. Just read verse 2.
Leviticus chapter 12 and verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a woman have conceived seed and born a man-child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. According to the days of the separation for her infirmity shall she be unclean.
So after she has this man-child, she's unclean for that first 7 days. Come on.
And in the 8th day.
And then on the 8th day, come on.
The flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised.
The flesh of her son's, her husband's son's foreskin shall be what?
Circumcised.
Shall be circumcised or cut off. Come on. Medically, meaning taking them to the physician, taking them to the doctor, and getting them circumcised. Come on.
And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 33 days.
So let's deal with verse 3. Why does it say for the children of Israel that we must be circumcised? Read that real quick, Genesis 17.
Genesis chapter 17 and verse 9.
Come on.
And God said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. This is my covenant which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man-child among you shall be circumcised.
Every man-child among you. This is the covenant that the Lord made between Abraham and his seed or his generations or his race or his lineage. Come on.
And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you.
So he told Abraham, circumcise yourself first, because that's a covenant between me and you. Come on.
And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you.
And your children, those that are 8 days old, they would be circumcised as well. Come on.
Every man-child in your generations.
Every man-child in your generations. Come on.
He that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed.
So every male child in your generation, meaning not just for Abraham, not just for his immediate lineage, Isaac, Ishmael, but throughout your generations. As we read on, we're going to read about who this covenant was made between. Go ahead.
He that is born in thy house and he that is bought with thy money must needs be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant.
So this is a physical sign of the covenant between the Most High and his children, the children of Israel. Jump to verse 21.
Verse 21. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac.
Stop. He said his covenant. So this covenant of circumcision, although you had his servants, you had Ishmael that was circumcised, the Lord commanded that Moses circumcise himself, everybody in his house. But the covenant was specific to Abraham's generation or his lineage. And it's telling you who that lineage is. Read that again.
But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year.
At this set time in the next year. Let's see. Let's get some more. Who this covenant was for. Acts chapter 7. Actually, read Psalms 105. Psalms chapter 105. Let's read who the covenant was for. Psalms chapter 105. You're going to read verses 6 through 10.
Psalm chapter 105 and verse 6. O ye seed of Abraham, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen. He is the Lord our God. His judgments are in all the earth. He hath remembered his covenant forever.
Stop. He hath remembered his covenant forever. Who was that covenant with? It told you in verse 6. The seed of Abraham, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen. Not all the other nations. The covenant was made with Isaac and Abraham and his seed. Abraham and his generation. It's explaining who his seed or his generation was. Read verse 8 again.
Verse 8. He hath remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations, which covenant he made with Abraham, and his oath unto Isaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant.
And to Israel, not all nations, not all races, not all people. With the children of Israel was his covenant made. Nothing changed in the new. Acts chapter 7. Acts chapter 7 verse 8. Nothing changed in the new.
Acts chapter 7 and verse 8.
Come on.
And he gave him the covenant of circumcision. And so Abraham begat Isaac, and circumcised him the 8th day. And Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob begot the 12 patriarchs.
The 12 patriarchs, or the 12 tribes. From Judah all the way down to Issachar, the 12 tribes is who that covenant was made to. Made for, made with. All right? Last one, Romans chapter 3, verse 1. And then we're going to go back to Leviticus. Romans chapter 3, verse 1.
Romans chapter 3 and verse 1. What advantage then have the Jew?
What advantage has the Jew, the Israelite? Come on.
Or what profit is there of circumcision? Much every way.
Circumcision is profitable. Come on.
Much every way, chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of God.
Because unto the Jews was committed circumcision and the oracles of God, the commandments of God. This Bible was given to the children of Israel. Not all nations, not all races, not all people. So let's go back to Leviticus 12. Go back and read verse, you're going to read verse 4.
Leviticus chapter 12 and verse 4. And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 33 days. She shall touch no hallowed thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled.
So I'm sorry, and I want to go back to verse 3. You got to do what you can within this captivity. As much as lieth in you to get your son circumcised on the 8th day, do it. We're in captivity. If there's certain issues that you run into, that's why we have mercy within this captivity. But everything that's within your power, everything that's within your strength, get your son circumcised on the 8th day. All right. Read verse 4 again.
Verse 4. And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 33 days.
So from 7 days, you add another 33 days. That's a total of 40 days that the wife is unclean. When it says, you shall touch no hollow thing nor come into the sanctuary, that is not talking about your house, your bed. That's not talking about the congregation. Of course, your wife can come into the congregation after she has the child. If she, 30 days later, 31 days later, whatever the case is. That's not saying that she's unclean and she can't come into the church. That's a law pertaining to the temple specifically. We do not have there's no physical temple right now standing in Jerusalem. We are in captivity, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. All right. Read on. But as far as the uncleanness, she's still unclean. And the same laws that pertain to, that are according to her separation that we read in Leviticus 15, that pertains now. That means postpartum sexual intercourse is not permitted if you have a male child prior to 40 days. Postpartum sexual intercourse is unlawful prior to 40 days if you have a male child. And that male child must be circumcised the 8th day. All right? Read on. Verse 5.
Verse 5. But if she bear a maid child,
But if you have a daughter, a maid child is a daughter,
then she shall be unclean 2 weeks,
then you're unclean. Your wife is unclean for 2 weeks, 14 days,
as in her separation.
just like she would be separated with an issue of blood, like we read in Leviticus 15.
And she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 60 days.
And she shall be unclean, and she will continue in her purifying. It says how many days?
60 days.
1 score is 20. So 3 score is 6 and 6 days. So 66 days plus the 2 weeks is 80 days. When you have a daughter, a maid child, there's no postpartum sexual intercourse prior to 80 days. All right? 40 days for a male child, 80 days for a female or a daughter or a maid child. All right? It says, so let's read this article. How soon after giving birth can you have sex? Because the Most High is a genius. There's a rhyme and a reason behind the Most High giving us laws pertaining to intercourse and uncleanness after we have children. All right? After our wives have children. So let's read this. How soon after giving birth can you have sex?
Recommendations regarding when it's safe to engage in sexual intercourse after giving birth will mostly depend on the circumstances of your delivery. Generally, your provider will likely recommend waiting 2 to 6 weeks after your baby is born before getting all hot and heavy. There are a few reasons to wait.
So even your doctors, we understand according to the scriptures that it's 40 days, close to 6 weeks. All right? So for a maid child, you have close to 6 weeks that the Most High prescribed that we wait. Doctors even telling you 6 weeks. All right? It says there are a few reasons to wait.
Your pelvic floor, the muscles that line your vagina and support your bladder, will need some time to rest and recover.
So the Most High said you need time, your body needs time to heal. Your body needs time to heal. Upwards of 6 weeks, your body needs time to heal. Come on.
Also, following delivery, your cervix takes some time to return to its pre-pregnancy state. Infection can make its way in more easily during this time, too. It's best to keep things out of the vagina for a few weeks.
So watch this. It says, it's talking about your pelvic floor needs time to recover. Your cervix needs time to recover. And also, when it comes to infection, it's easier within that window prior to that 40-day window for you to get infections. So the Most High is a genius when he said you need to wait. You need to wait. 40 days for a man, a son, 80 days for a daughter. Go ahead. It's best.
It's best to keep things out of the vagina for a few weeks. That includes tampons, saliva, penises, fingers, and toys. Dr. Zupancic says.
All right, so let's jump down to vaginal delivery. Vaginal delivery.
Vaginal delivery. For those who experience tearing or heavy bruising over their vulva, the outside of your vagina, Your provider will likely recommend abstaining from sex for 6 weeks.
For 6 weeks. 6 weeks for a vaginal birth. That's what the Most High prescribed. Doctors are just following orders. The Most High prescribed that you wait 40 days for a man-child. Go ahead.
If you had stitches following your delivery, those sutures need time to dissolve, and the tissues need time to heal so that it's strong enough to withstand sexual intercourse. Dr. Zupanik explains.
Jump down.
C-section delivery. If you had a cesarean section, C-section delivery, your doctor will likely suggest you abstain from sex for at least 6 weeks.
6 weeks. The Most High said at minimum 40. Obviously, if you need more time because you had a tougher delivery, then understood. But guess what? The Most High said prescribe 40 days. All right? 40 days. So that's it on this. Now, one of the questions that would come up is, well, what if I have twins? I have a male and a female, a son and a daughter as far as twins. Then you would wait the full 80 days, which obviously includes the 40 days for the man, for the son, but for the daughter, it's 80 days. So even if you have a male and a female, as far as twins, you still wait the full 80 days, It's not like, oh, well, I got the son, so I'm gonna wait the 40, and it's also not stacked on top of each other. So it's not 40 days, and then you turn around and gotta wait another 80, so 120 days. No, you just wait the 80 days for the daughter, all right? So I pray that you brothers and sisters receive some understanding from that. Again, I'm Captain Lemuel, and this is 15 Minutes with the Captains. With that, we say shalom.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community.